Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me here on a great Monday is the man himself, Logan Landers. How's it going, Mr. Landers?
Hey, doing pretty great, Jeremiah. Ready to talk some football with you as usual on Mondays, man. I'm ready to talk about these recruiting classes, get my vocal cords a little warm up in the morning. So I'm ready when you are, brother.
Yes, and so today is a pretty exciting day, and one thing I'd like to do is thank you, Mr. Landers, for the attention to detail you've been putting into these recruiting class videos. Just to be honest, we watch a lot of other content here at 100 Yards of Football, and when you come across other recruiting videos, I've liked what they're doing, and I appreciate all of their hard work. But I'll tell you one thing that I love about our videos and what really stands out is that you really go deep into each single player. We don't just go, hey, they've got a recruiting class. Here are three guys you need to know. We really dig in and talk about some of these great young men and their and the examples that they're trying to set for this team. So without further ado, let's talk about the LSU recruiting class for 2021.
Yeah, let's do it, man. So let's talk a little bit about the class in general first. So in the nation right now, they're ranked 5th. In the SEC, they're in 3rd, which isn't bad considering they got a lot of big players up there. They've got 9 enrollees, which I found was interesting because we've done our previous draft classes so far. We haven't come across these guys much. So basically what they're doing is since the whole COVID outbreak happened this year, they're allowing some guys from high school to forego their senior season to go ahead and get a little bit of early registration. Okay. So they've already got 9 of those guys that are already on the team. They're going to be trying to help them out a little bit earlier. And then 11 have signed a letter of intent. And there's 2 hard commits who are looking like they're going to sign. We're not too sure yet, but we'll have to see what's going on with them. So let's get on with the hard recruits first to get them out the way. So the first one is Savion Jones. He's a defensive end, 6'5", 240 pounds, out of Louisiana, where you're going to see a lot of these prospects are from. LSU did a lot of home cooking. They kept a lot of their guys in state. Jones is a 4-star recruit, 9th in his position, 6th in the state, and 164 ranked national player. We'll have to see what he does. I mean, he's already got the height and weight, which is already pretty solid. We'll just have to see if he has to sign that letter and gets on with the Tigers. The second hard commit is Kimo Makanole, and Kimo's offensive guard, 6'4", 285, 3-star recruit. This one, 511th in the nation, 28th at his position, and 73rd in the state. Now, he actually just committed on New Year's Eve, so we'll have to see if he can get on the team as well. Like I said, all signs are pointing to these guys signing. They just haven't committed fully yet, but all signs are looking like Kimo as well as Savion are going to be Tigers in the near future. Now let's get on some of the guys who are already on the team, who have signed the letters, or who have enrolled. The first one is Jalen Sheed. Jalen is a tight end, 6'4", 240 pounds, 3-star recruit out of Mississippi, out of Olive Branch High School. He's 923rd national ranked player, 51st in his position, and 14th in his state. So, like I said, 3-star recruits, we're not too familiar with because they're not highly recruited. 3-star, hey, it's always impressive, of course, but when you have a stacked team with a stacked recruiting class like this, you kind of fall down the totem pole a little bit. That doesn't mean the talent's not there. And, I mean, like I said, for Jalen, we'll have to see how he's going to do, but hopefully he can be one of the breakout players in the near future that we look back on and be like, hey, this guy was a 3-star, but he ended up producing like a 5-star. So we'll have to see how he does. Up next is Matthew Langlois. Matthew is a young man who's also out of Louisiana, a safety, 6', 185, 3-star recruit as well, 504th ranked national player, 38th in his position, and 15th in the state of Louisiana. So Matthew, like I said, another player they got out of Louisiana. We're going to be seeing that very often in this class. So we'll have to see how he can do because the LSU defense, they need a little bit of help this year, along with a lot of teams in college football. So we'll see if he can step up for the Tigers during his time there. Up next, we're going to go on to Jack Beck. Jack is a young man who is a wide receiver out of Lafayette, Louisiana, 6'2", 215 pounds, 348th ranked player nationally, 57th in his position, and 11th in the state. He's a 4-star recruit. And, hey, we'll have to see. We've seen a lot of great wide receivers come out of the LSU Tigers in the past. We'll see if Jack can throw his name up there in the near future. Up next is Malik Neighbors. Malik is a young man also out of Louisiana, went to Southside High School, wide receiver as well, 6', 190, 4-star recruit, 253rd ranked national player, 42nd in his position, and 8th in the state of Louisiana. So like I just said with Jack, man, A lot of good wide receivers that came out of LSU, and we'll see if he can throw his name up there as well. Hopefully those two can be kind of a tag team. They can really kind of get some yardage and get some points up for the LSU Tigers. Up next, we're going to be talking about Greg Penn III. So Greg is an inside linebacker out of Damarius Catholic High School. And, man, 6'1", 225 pounds, four-star recruit, 11th in his position, 10th in the state, and 212th ranked national player. So we'll have to see if he can, how he does, because inside linebacker, it's always a little bit of a tricky position to scout. You never know. It's always hard to go from high school to college. Some people like thrive when they do that, and others we'll have to see. But hopefully Greg can be another one that stands out, and hopefully he can get some good playing time with LSU Tigers. Up next is Damarius McGee. So Damarius is a cornerback out of Pensacola, Florida, with the Pensacola Catholic High School, 6'1", 163 pounds, 185th ranked national player, 14th in his position, and 28th in the state. When I was looking at this guy, Jeremiah, he kind of gave me a little bit of a flashback to our guy, Bobby Butler, because whenever he's always on the show, he's always talked about how he's a little bit undersized. I remember he always says going into high school or college, he weighed close to around 150 to 160 pounds. And that's what Damarius reminds me of. So hopefully he can have a Bobby Butler type of career for the Tigers. We'll have to see, man. Hopefully he can live up to those lofty expectations that our guy put out there.
You're right.
All right. All right, up next is Corey Keiner. Corey is out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Running back, 5'10", 205 pounds. Always that kind of stocky, tank-like running back. 163rd ranked national player, 7th in his position, as well as 7th in the state of OHIO, four-star recruit. And we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see, because you always kind of get a knock for being a little bit shorter for a running back. They're always going to get that. But hopefully, you can see in the picture there if you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, he's got that muscle to him already. He's only going to get stronger with those good strength and conditioning coaches they got out there in Louisiana, as well as a little bit of that good gumbo food out there. I know he's going to be enjoying that quite a good bit. So he'll get some more bulk to him, and we'll see if he can be running people down. We'll have to see, man, if he can be trucking them and stiff-arming them out of the way to the next state over. We'll have to see what Corey can produce for them. Up next, we got Bryce Langston. So Bryce is a young man out of Ocala, Florida, with the Vanguard High School defensive end, 6'2.5", 250 pounds, four-star recruit as well, 144th ranked national player, 12th in his position, and 22nd out of the state of Florida. So he's already got the good look to him. They probably just want him to slim down maybe a little bit, not in terms of weight, but in terms of just getting some more muscle mass on. That's always important going into college, especially for defensive ends. You got to be able to get around those big offensive guards and swim around them. So that's what they're probably going to be working on with Bryce. And hopefully, he looks like he's got all the tools in the toolbox to be a good producer for the Tigers, but only time will tell. Up next, we got Armani Goodwin. Armani is a young man who's also a running back. He's out of Alabama, 5'8", 190 pounds, four-star recruit, 94th ranked national player, 5th in his position, and 6th in his state. So they were able to sneak one away from Alabama there. We're going to be talking about the Crimson Tide just a little bit, but man, LSU, they were able to get this young guy, like I said, out of Alabama. He's even more undersized than the man we just talked about. So hopefully, Armani, he's got the look to him. It looks like, he's already got some tattoos on him, so he's ready. He can deal with some pain, man. And we'll see what he can be doing, man. He can be juking around all these defensive players, and we'll see how many touchdowns he can rack up for LSU. All right, up next, we got Chris Hilton. So Chris is a wide receiver out of Louisiana, went to Zachary High School, 5'11", 169 pounds, four-star recruit, 75th ranked national player, 11th in his position, and 3rd out of the state of Louisiana. So like I said, man, they got a lot of wide receivers in this recruiting class. That's what they're trying to bulk up on. And we'll see how Chris can do for the LSU Tigers, and hopefully he can put his name up there with some of the greats. We'll have to see. Up next, we have Sage Ryan. Sage Ryan is a safety out of course, where else but Louisiana. 5'11", 193rd ranked player. 5-star recruit, by the way, Jeremiah, the first one on the board. 28th national player, 2nd in his position, and 2nd in the state. So Sage, he's got a lot of hype around him coming up already. Very impressive out of high school. And, hey, we've seen a lot of guys who were very impressive in high school come into college and absolutely just rock out. And hopefully Sage can throw his name up there with a bunch of the greats, especially at the safety position. That's going to be key. You got to be able to get some good turnovers. And we'll see how many, game-ending performances he can get, man, with those picks and those costly Whenever they go deep, they're going to have Sage back there trying to protect them from that scoring that touchdown. So we'll see how he can do for the Tigers. All right, so that's all the guys that have signed the letter of intent, and now we're going to get on to the enrollees, like I said, who are forgone their senior year of high school, their playing days, and now they're going on to the Tigers to produce a little bit earlier than a lot of these people expected. But with all the COVID stuff going on, hey, we never knew it was going on. So, all right, up first, we got Peyton Todd. Peyton is a young man who's coming out of Louisiana. Of course, we got our first punter, I believe, we've already talked about on the program in terms of the recruiting classes. First or second, 3-star recruit. He's not ranked nationally. First in his position, though, and he's 44th in the state of Louisiana. So he's also 6'5", 210, so which is, that's pretty solid for a punter. You got to have those long legs. You got to have those booming kicks. And, a lot of people like to say that punters aren't athletes, but whenever you need a timely coffin kick or anything like that, you need to, stop the opposing team from running down the field. You got to have a good punter. So hopefully Peyton can do it for the brand and kick some bombs for the Tigers. All right, up next is Navantik Strong. Strong is a young man who's an inside linebacker out of Mississippi Gulf Coast. His high school, 6 foot, 230 pounds, 3-star recruit, 18th national player, first in his position, and 7th out of his state. So like I said earlier, inside linebacker, very, very important position on the football field in terms of the defense. And we'll have to see how this guy can do. Obviously, the LSU liked him if they were wanting to get him on the team a little bit early. So we'll have to see if he can work his way up, crack that starting lineup, and we'll see how he can produce for LSU. All right, up next is Xavier Carter. Xavier is a man that's out of our neck of the woods. Jeremiah, coming out of Atlanta, Georgia. Went to Hapeville Charter High School, outside linebacker. That's 6'4", 193, 4-star recruit, 203rd ranked national player, 12th in his position, 18th in the state. So, like we always say, whenever we ever get someone from Atlanta on there, we hope he produces well, and hopefully Xavier is another one that we always hope to, be running the football world in a couple of years, no doubt. Next is Landon Jackson. Landon is a defensive end out of Pleasant Grove, Texas. Went to Pleasant Grove High School out of Texarkana, Texas. 6'6", 240, 4-star recruit, 123rd ranked national player, 7th in his position, 19th in the state. So he's already got the great height to him, and 6'6", that's already very impressive at such a young age too. 240 pounds. He's already got a good look to him. So let's see, man. He needs just a little bit more seasoning on the college football level. Get used to some of the other players he's going to be coming with. But so far, he's already got a good bit of tools to him already. So we'll have to see how he can produce. Coming next is Garrett Dellinger. So Garrett, it comes out of Clarkston High School, offensive tackle, 6'5", 280 pounds, 4-star recruit, 90th ranked national player, 14th in his position, and 5th in his state. So offensive tackle, we'll have to see. That's always a tricky position to recruit really just anybody off on the offensive line. I already like that he's 6'5", 280. That's already going to help him out a little bit. They might ask him to gain a little bit more weight, get him around the 300 mark, but we'll have to see. Hopefully, he's already got the good look to him, and we'll see how he can produce, trying to stop that defense from getting to the quarterback for the Tigers in the near future. Next, we have Garrett Nutsmeyer out of Texas, Marcus High School. And this guy is a quarterback, 6'1.5", 182 pounds, 4-star recruit, 86th ranked national player, 8th in his position, and 14th out of his state. So first quarterback, like we said, LSU's produced some good quarterbacks in the past as well. We've seen Joe Burrow in recent years. So we'll see if Garrett can get up there for the Tigers and how he can sling the ball around, get them a couple of touchdowns, and lead them to a couple of comeback wins as well. Up next is Dion Smith. Dion Smith is coming out of Jackson Academy, wide receiver, 6'1.5", 172 pounds, 4-star recruit, 70th ranked national player, 10th in his position, and 1st in his state. He's out of Jackson, Mississippi. So we'll have to see, man, because this guy is already highly recruited. Like I said, LSU's got a good pool of wide receivers in the past, and obviously LSU thought highly of this guy if they were willing to get him out of high school a little bit early and get him on the team. So let's see if he's going to wait or if he's going to already be thrown into some of those starting lineups and those packages for the Tigers and if he can produce. It'll be interesting to see it. I'm going to be looking out for him as well. All right, Derek Davis Jr. is up next on the board. Safety, 6'1", 194 pounds. He's coming out of Pennsylvania with the Gateway High School. 4-star recruit, 58th ranked national player, 3rd in his position, and 4th out of his state. So there's their safety position, man. They really kind of loaded up on wide receivers as well as on the defensive end as well. They knew what they needed to get help on. And Derek Davis, who's looking like he's already going to be producing for the Tigers in the near future, sooner rather than later, I believe. So we'll have to see how he's going to do for LSU. All right, and this is the last one on the board here. This is Mason Smith. Mason is a young man out of Louisiana. Of course, went to Terrebonne High School, defensive tackle. Jeremiah, you might want to hold on to your chair real quick. This guy is 6'5", 316 pounds, absolute monster of a man, 5-star recruit, 18th ranked national player, 2nd in his position, and 1st in his state. So this guy, I don't have to say any more about his height and weight. He's already got all the tools there. He's already set. If you guys can see the picture right now, he looks absolutely menacing. If you're a quarterback, you're going to have nightmares about this guy, I believe. So let's see how many sacks he can rack up for LSU throughout his tenure. But, man, I've watched a little bit of footage on him, and he looks impressive. He looks really good, and he looks like he's going to help out the Tigers way sooner rather than later. So
that's a monster.
That's all of our recruits, man. We got through them once again.
Whew, man. First off, let me say congratulations to LSU for keeping it in the state. I don't think that that's very common, honestly, from what we've seen some of these other recruiting classes. You've got, the whole thing is it's a nationwide. You got to go out looking for the best recruits. But they're like, let's stick home first and see who the best people are nearby. Let me ask you this. Is that a normal LSU recruiting kind of idea, or is that related to COVID, or is it a combo, you think? What do you think is going on with there?
I think it's kind of more combo this year because, we've seen some guys from the SEC, from the ACC, get drafted out of like California and some out west teams. But it seems like for all the teams that we've done so far, they've tried to stick in their state as much as possible. Mm-hmm. I'm looking here. LSU had 8 of their players. I believe there was around 25 or so I listed off. Mm-hmm. So they had 8 of those guys already out the state of Louisiana. So they, like I said, they did some home cooking. They stayed home. And I remember we did Ohio State, and they had a few guys from Ohio as well. Mm-hmm. So I think just with the COVID stuff, a lot of scouts weren't able to travel as much.
Right.
So I think that is a combo, like you said. But it's always good because sometimes it's always good to see the guys that, all the LSU fans out there. You see a guy from, your part of Louisiana go on and be a performer for your team. Yeah. So that's always great to see. And we'll have to see how these upcoming Tigers can do and how they can perform and how many wins they can amass in their future, in their tenure there.
Yeah, that's incredible. So for everybody watching, we have just recapped the entire currently known recruiting class for the 2021 LSU Tigers. Our boy Logan Landers went in depth on each one of those. Now, if you like this video, then please put in the comments what you liked about it. Please put in the comments who your favorite players are, who you're excited about. Do you know some of these players? Because you might. These are guys, they're coming out of high school. Right. These are kids who have a great career in front of them, but they're just now getting started into the higher ranks of football. They may have been like incredible stars coming out of high school, which is incredible, and we want to know about it. So if you were hometown friends with some of these players, know them through the games themselves, or you're just excited about them joining the LSU Tigers, let us know in the comments. So we are 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. We broadcast live every single week, multiple times a week, covering the best in college football, in NFL football, and we even touch into the high school ranks, to talk about who's coming up, what's going on, and what you can expect for the future. We have an incredible team, including Kevin the Bull Jones, who is a Georgia prep coach, one of the most legendary coaches I've ever met in real life, just to be honest. He has connections across the entire coaching world. He's worked for some of the most major coaches in the world. And he's a big Alabama fan. And he has a really strong, really close connection with the Alabama coaching staff. Also, Coach Brian Spencer, our basketball coach, he gives us an update every week on what's going on in the world of basketball, including at his college, which is Carver Bible College. We've got our host with the most, Vincent Turner. He's the founder of the show. He's the man who knows more about anything football related than I can even express. We call him the football encyclopedia. He is a great guy to have on hand if you need to know something about football. And two-time All-American, 12 years in the NFL, Bobby Butler. This man, he's an incredible personality, very positive, very uplifting, always looking to help someone out, always looking to help out the league whenever he can, and former players and upcoming players, but also just an incredible athlete himself. He came up from Florida State. He's a legend there. He's a legend for the Atlanta Falcons, and just an incredible player and person. And, of course, our team here, Logan Landers, host with the most. He's been doing it real big, growing every single time that we come up here, and just doing an incredible job, my friend. I'm talking about you like you're not here. Of course, myself, I am the producer, Jeremiah Long. I've been helping put this show together for a few years now, since Vincent actually started the show over 10 years ago. But bringing it to broadcast television has been one of the joys and accomplishments of my career. So I'm really thankful that we've been able to grow this network and really bring it up and show everyone what it is we're trying to do. So for everyone who's watching live, we are on Facebook, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, and some other places, that are coming up, including where's the sports networks that we're starting to put clips up on, Mr. Logan?
Yeah. So as of, you guys can check out my profile over at Press Sports. At the moment, it's only available on Apple. So if you have an iPhone, go check me out over there. It's Logan_Landers. I do some really good breakdowns over there of a lot of the young up-and-coming. They have middle school guys over there. They have high school. So if you guys are on there, just drop a comment on the video, and I'll be sure to go break down some of your videos. I've been loving it over there, and the interaction's been amazing, Jeremiah. Just kind of seeing some of the young guys who, just kind of fly under the radar. So it's always good to see a lot of these young guys who are putting in work, who are uploading their clips to try and get noticed. So if you're on that app, guys, just drop a comment, and I'll be sure to get over there and watch some of your videos.
Absolutely. And we also put our videos up onto the audio streams every week onto all of our podcast networks. So if any place that you listen to podcasts, please go over and check it out on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. Just look up 100 Yards of Football. So for the whole team here at 100 Yards of Football, I'm Jeremiah Long with Logan Landers, and you've been watching our breakdown of the 2021 LSU recruiting class. If you ever want to know anything else about any other classes or any special videos you'd like, please drop it in the comments, and make sure to like and subscribe. So for the whole team, we'll see you later.